Hey guys, my name is Daniel Mutheki, and I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me today. Most importantly, I'd like us to thank God for enabling us all to be here. This is something I have said enough times, and I believe and hope that you always make time to thank God. Because it's not because of any special thing you've done. It's simply because of His mercies that are new every morning. And so His graciousness has allowed you to see a day such as this. You know, there's some of you watching this video today and you're struggling to find anything to be happy about. Things are tough. Life has become difficult. But I want you to remember one thing, that nothing lasts forever. Everything in life is a season, and every season has a beginning and an end. And so whatever it is you're going through will not last forever. A time will come when all will change. So keep the hope and don't give up, and continue forging forward. Well guys, as usual, I leave my details on the screen right there. And so if you need to reach out to me, don't hesitate, drop me an email, chat me up on my social media pages, and I'll make it a point to try my very best to revert to each and every one of you. It could be anything, could be a question, could be some advice you need, could be a topic you'd like to suggest that we do in this channel. Don't hesitate, hit me up, and I'll try my best to get back to you. Well guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for, man? Press the subscription button and don't forget the notification bell so that you're always alerted when we post a new video, which by the grace of God is each and every Sunday. Well guys, this is a new week, and as we say, new week, new video. And last week we spoke about patience. And so if you haven't watched that video, make sure you check it out. And so this week I was just seated reading the Bible, and I started asking myself, the characters in the Bible who exuded patience, you know, people who showed what patience is all about. And there are quite a number, but today I want to talk about 3 of them. And I'd like us to start with a gentleman by the name David. You know, when God anointed David to be king over Israel, David was a young man, very young. But the anointment came and God said, you will be king. But I want you to imagine it took probably 10 or 15 years for him to finally be king. That season of waiting was not only a season of waiting, it was a season of preparation. It was a season of exposure. It was a season of experience. You know, God was preparing David to fit into the shoes of a king. God was giving him exposure. God was giving him experience for a job He had already anointed him for. But this had to take time. The exposure that he required, this had to take time. The preparation that he needed to be king of Israel, this had to take time. And so you realize that if you look at David, just quickly, you'll see that he was extremely patient when it came to doing the things of God. You know, how many of us today have been appointed to do something, have a gift to do something, have the ability to do something? However, our inability to be patient has compromised that gift, that which we have. You see, David is anointed quite early. And so most of us would have wanted that to happen immediately. We'd have wanted us to be anointed today and tomorrow we are king. But God had to take time because He wanted to build him so that he can handle that capacity of the office that which He had created him for. You know, we look at another gentleman in the Bible called Abraham. Abraham went and prayed for a son. He prayed for a child. And God promises him that you will be a father of many nations, that I will give you a child. But guys, he had to wait. Let's say the promise was given today, 2022. Abraham waited another 25 years to a point that his wife doubted the promise. She couldn't believe that it would happen. She was old, she was in her 90s. But God came through. God gave them a child. And they were able to show the miracle of God. You know, sometimes in life, the patient season that you're going through is because God wants to do something great in your life. But He needs you to be patient. He needs you to be humble. He needs you to wait because He's working on you. He's building you. He's trying to equip you to handle that capacity. You know, I'll give you a story that I like giving about a vineyard. And you see, when a farmer goes and plants a grape vineyard, it takes a couple of years before they start producing. But after like 2 years, you might start seeing some grapes on the vines. The interesting thing is this: if the farmer allows the vines to bear the grapes at 2 years old, then the vines are not yet strong enough to handle the weight of the grapes. And what happens with time is that the vines will not be able to produce according to how they were intended to be, because they will be weak. But what happens is the farmer goes and cuts off those grapes that have already started producing by 2 years old. He'll cut them off because he needs to give the vineyard another year so that it grows stronger. Because then it'll be able to handle the weight of the grapes. See, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about patience, when I talk about waiting. A lot of things in your life you will be required to wait. Not because it has not been promised to you, but because you are not yet equipped to handle it. A baby has to wait and grow for 9 months in the mother's womb so that they can handle the outside atmosphere. If a baby is born premature, some they die. If a baby is born before their term, they have complications. If your gift is born before its time, then it might compromise the efficiency of that gift. It might compromise you. And so sometimes you'll be required to wait. Look at the story of Moses. Moses was set aside as an infant, a small child. God had a plan over his life, a purpose over his life, that he was the one who was to free the Israelites from bondage. But you can imagine how many years it took for God to prepare him, for God to lead him to his promise, for God to finally use him to free these people. It took a long, long time. A lot of us have given up. A lot of us have lost hope. A lot of us have stopped praying. A lot of us have questioned God. Some have gone to the extent of being angry at God, because what you believe He said to you has taken time before it has come to fruition. You see, the goldsmith takes the gold through fire to purify it, to make it pure, to shape it, and to finally produce a beautiful ornament. So does God do with those He loves. When God has a big purpose for you, He might tell you what it is, but it will take time before you achieve it. And I want you today to look at your life and ask yourself, how many things have I prayed for, but honestly I'm not ready for? How many answers have not yet come from God? Not because God is not ready to give, but because I'm not ready to receive. You see, some of you here, if I gave you 1 billion shillings, it will kill you. It will destroy you because you haven't built the capacity to manage. And that's an important attribute that we must develop before God gives those things that we request of Him. And so I'll say this: during your seasons of patience, during your season of waiting, that is when you grow. That is when you build capacity to hold a position, to hold a gift, to utilize a blessing as God has intended it in your life. And so we have spoken quite a lot about patience. But as you wait, work on building capacity. Look at the story of Joseph, a story I have said millions of times on this channel. You see, Joseph was given a dream by God, a vision that he will be great. His own brothers bowed down before him. But immediately that happened, his life went south. His brothers wanted to kill him. They sold him off to slavery in Egypt. In Egypt, he found himself in Potiphar's house as a manservant. There he worked for a couple of years, only for Potiphar's wife to want to lay with him. And so he had to run away and was falsely accused of rape, where he found himself in dungeon. He found himself in prison. You see, if you read the scriptures, you'll realize that this took probably 13 years. The gift, the dream, the vision was given to him at the age of 17, but it took 13 years before it came to fruition. One morning, he's called from prisoner to governor. Moses, from Hebrew to deliverer. Guys, waiting is important. David moves from a shepherd boy, becomes a soldier, becomes a general in the army, and finally is elevated into the position of king. God knows what he is doing. God is a manufacturer. You see, let me ask you a question. Would you argue with a chef if you went into a kitchen and you saw a chef preparing a meal? You see, they start from preparing ingredients. There's a process to it. It takes time. There's marination to it. There's all these processes a chef does. But it's because he is the manufacturer. He knows the meal he's trying to create. But then you come in and start complaining. Oh, chef, this is not this is not that. Just use this, just use that. Stop the marination, do this and do that. What happens is you compromise the final product when you rush the chef. And so, the same thing here is this. If you rush your life, if you don't have patience, if you don't have the ability to wait, if you don't have the need or the want to build capacity, build value within yourself, then when the gift comes, you will waste it. And you'll be unable to develop it. And so guys, look at your life. Evaluate it this week and ask yourself, where am I not waiting as I build capacity to handle that which I have asked for? Some of you have asked for riches, but if those riches come today, they'll destroy you because you still have pride in you. You're not humble. And so when God blesses you with the money, you'll destroy yourself and others. And so you must work on that thing. As you wait, work on being humble so that God can elevate you. And so guys, I don't want to make this video too long, but I want you to think about that. And I pray that God will give you wisdom, knowledge, understanding as you go through this week. Until next week, take care, God bless, and remember, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget the notification bell so that you're always alerted when we post a new video, which by the grace of God is each and every Sunday. Until next time, take care guys, and God bless.